And I'll tell you right now, I mean, you're in construction, you know this, there is a weird thing going on. They're not getting as much business as before. So they'll start out really high. And so if you're an asset manager or somebody buying deals, like push, renegotiate and negotiate with those contractors right now, because they'll start really high, but there's actually a lot of margin built in there that they'll relinquish because times are tight and they want to keep their people busy.
Welcome back to The Real Grind, guys, the place where we talk about real estate while we sip on the best cup of
coffee.
Italo, this guy here, actually, we were able to share a cup of coffee with him a couple times.
Couple times. He's a coffee lover.
And he took it to the next level because he actually one day, remember, he came with this little cooler into a studio and he had awesome craft beer in there.
Dude, he had coffee, sparkling water. He brought the whole kit so he can have that full-on experience. People like that, I get goosebumps talking about, because it's like, that's my soulmate right there. That's my brother. Like, he understands what coffee is all about.
But on top of that, he had an amazing story, a journey, how he's kicking ass now into the real estate, into the multifamily more specific. And we're gonna bring it up in a little bit, but before, let's get the number. Season 2, man. It's been great recording those episodes in season 2 where we got this new studio going on. It's pretty much the same, guys, but it's a totally different location where the cameras are all here, we all here. This just is our own building, but the Empire Group are doing business here. And I'm super excited to have you here at the season 2, The Real Grind. Let's get started.
Waking up to success, now we're getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on, go and make coffee. The real grind, this is the real grind. Let's go.
He is the founder and CEO of Craft Capital Investments, controlling over $300 million in commercial multifamily assets with 44 years of multifamily management and construction experience. Husband and a father of 2 beautiful children, where they all speak English and Portuguese in his house. And he's a gangster, man, because he's a friend of ours. Want to bring it to the stage, Gabriel Craft. Let's go! Let's go. We made it. What's up, my man?
We made it.
We made it. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Season 2?
Season 2, baby.
This was just an idea. Everybody was looking at you crazy, like, what are you talking about?
It was crazy, man. It was crazy idea because like coffee and real estate, what the hell was that, right?
Yeah. This is great though. I'm excited. And we should all be excited. It's the time for what we do. So
I 100%. Bro, we can't wait to ask you a bunch of questions what you're doing, because we'll all see that you're kicking ass. That's all I know.
Let's have a conversation.
About it, man.
Now's the time, man. Now is the time to have the conversation. I hope people can really tune into the level 10 excitement around what we're doing, because there's 100%. Nothing but excitement about
brother.
I
want to just begin by saying thank you for the friendship, because we meet a lot of people in the industry and such, but you're one of the people that you're special, man, and especially to us for friends, and I appreciate it.
We've always had that connection. You know what I mean?
Man.
I think I don't know if it's the Brazilian thing or what,
the
but
Brazilian
I think it's just
thing.
there's a certain vibe where you're like, oh, we're gonna be cool no matter what.
Yeah,
and the funny part is we go back and think about from like a business perspective, you actually kicked my butt on a deal. That's really where I was like, Neander and Italo are big players. They are big players, because we lost a deal. We came in second place and the broker was like, sorry, we like these guys better. And I was like, wait a second. Man. And then after I got a chance to know you a little bit, I was like, I see why they like you guys better, man.
No,
you guys are
man,
the real grind.
And that's the good aspect is like we just, there's no, for me at least, there's no such thing as competition, man. You know what I'm saying? We all ultimately do the same shit, and ultimately we all competitors. But when you have the abundance mindset that is just like, I lost for deals, and for the group as well, people are like, fuck, goddamn, I was so close,
Well, right now, more than ever, we've got to have that mentality, and we've got to give it to all these people that are scared in our business. This is a bunch of operators that are scared right now, as they should be. Times are tough from a revenue and expenses perspective, right? 100%. And the reason I'm excited is that creates opportunity, but for all the people that are out there on the grind every day doing the work, if we don't stay together and we start doing silly little things, we're gonna hurt the whole industry. 100%. We just saw it, right? Like we are impacted by people that get under contract on deals and can't raise the capital, or people that can't perform and told investors they were going to double their money in 5 years. Like, we're all impacted on this together. So, I mean, we have to stay together as a little clan of people that actually do what we say we're going to do. And we will still be here, you know, when the times get tough or when there's an abundance, you know, we'll still be here. So.
Yeah, for sure, man. But, you know, I want to start, and we're going to touch about that in a minute, and we're going to go in crazy about it. We're probably going to go into fights and cries, and, you know, because this is a hot kind of topic right now, what's going on in the industry. But I want to ask, bro, a little bit about your beginnings, man. Where you're from, and where'd you know, talk a little bit about your beginnings.
I am from Santa Cruz, California,
Hey.
Hey, but, you know, my real estate doesn't start coming into play until 2013. I went to business school at the University of Michigan. And about a year in, me and this professor decided to put together a special project. So we got to interview some pretty serious players in the private equity game. And the one that stood out the most during that process was we got to sit face to face with at a small table, me, 5 of my business school friends, my professor, Sam Zell. And the guy was special. I mean, there was something about almost like his soul. He connected with the rest of us. And he started talking passionately about why he began his career in value add multifamily and continued his career through just sort of bigger and better asset classes and business deals at some point once he reached scale in multifamily. So that moved me. And then I started studying in business school, like, all right, what does this really mean? What is this going to be like? So podcasts, a few professors, Professor Peter Allen at the University of Michigan influenced me a lot. And I came out in 2015 with the concept of, look, I'm going to get a good consulting job like every other MBA out there. So I went to work for PricewaterhouseCoopers, but I'm going to save. So me and my wife's from Brazil. She knows how to save a penny. She comes to the United States with that mentality of like, let's be really careful about what we spend our money on.
That's not all Brazilians, by the way.
Yeah,
Full disclosure, you know, like,
she works hard, but then she knows how to like make a dollar stretch. So it was beautiful. She came and really helped support me through that process. And man, we decided to save like a lot. So, you know, slowly but surely we were able to have that first move stack of capital that you need to get into real estate. And that's the scary thing is like people look at it and they go, oh man, do I even want to deploy anything?
Right. And that could also be blown away very quick.
Very quick, right? If you're not careful.
Yeah.
I was also fortunate to have an older brother that I have always followed in the footsteps of. So he learned how to dunk a basketball. I tried to be a basketball player, never got as good as him. He decided to get an MBA and join corporate America. So I got a lesser MBA maybe and joined corporate America too. He's always been somebody that kind of paved the way for me. And he was buying single families in the Midwest, like long-term buy and hold guy. So he's not trying to do heavy value adds, but he made me have enough conviction to make the jump. So we made the jump at about the same time, different assets. A lot of it was like creative in the beginning, and we scaled up. And we scaled up to 24 units, but the main way we got there was these 2 6-unit apartment complexes, and we got creative finance on them, and it seemed amazing, and it was terrible. And it was really tough. We still made money because everybody can make money.
Where was this?
This was in Toledo, Ohio. Not too far from where I went to business school. Yeah. And totally a market where you should be local. And we're buying from California and Dallas, Texas at the time where I lived.
Yeah.
And it was a learning lesson, you know. Didn't know how to buy right. We didn't know which markets to buy in. We didn't know how to operate. We didn't know how to pick a property management company and asset manage that property management company. And yet, you know, due to the times, we still made a little bit of money, but we realized like, hey, there's got to be a smarter way to scale up. And so with that, you know, where we met, I joined a multifamily mentorship group here in Dallas in 2017 and haven't looked back, because not only did I realize the power of multifamily, I also realized I was sitting in the best market.
Yeah.
And people could fight with me about that all they want to.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
We let the haters come.
Yeah, haters can come.
I challenge you right now. What is the best market that you think right now? Put down in the comments. Let us hear from you. What do you think is the best market? Because I'm biased to say, man, Dallas, it's hard to beat.
Hey, look, if it's not number one, it's always been in the top 5 the last
100%.
7 years. So it's been an important part of our journey. We've chose to focus on like the operation side like you. And so we have to be good at a specific market. You can't be the jack of all trades. If you're an asset manager or if you're really good at the financing side of it or raising capital, cool. Go all over the place. But if you're going to be an operator, you really need to know your market before you expand out and before you've reached that sort of size where you can hire people that can stay in that one market. And so that's where we're at. We're growing in DFW and we're buying anything that makes sense, pivoting our strategy from time to time. But for the most part, value add stuff or heavy value add stuff here in town.
100%. And dude, we're going to dive right in there after guess what time it is?
What time is it? Do I get my coffee?
It's coffee time.
Yes.
Let's go.
Thank you. Yes. All right. Ooh. Ooh. My man, what's up? Italo. In the flesh. Tudo bem? Tudo bem. Como vai com você?
Como vai?
Como vai?
So how do we say coffee in Portuguese?
Café?
Café. There you go.
Café?
I have something to share a little bit about this guys. This is the second time that we bring those guys here to the show. But this guy actually, a little bit of backstory. He's actually my neighbor next to my property in Brazil. And he's a very, very humble, hardworking, amazing guy that really crafts. He goes and handpick all his cherries, man. And he dries in certain ways, all the process, him and his entire family. It's a smaller farm in Brazil, but inside of this bag here, dude, there is a lot of history and love.
A lot of blood and sweat.
And so I want to honor him by bringing his coffee here into the United States. And I want to say this in Portuguese, but Jeremias, muito obrigado pela sua excelência de trabalho no seu café, no seu produto. E a gente agradece você e quer honrar você aqui no Real Grind Show. Muito obrigado.
Obrigado por todo.
Yeah.
Hey, vamos.
But this coffee made its debut on first season. Okay. And my story with coffee started with this coffee. Basically, that's the first coffee that Neander introduced to me. But just as the second season, coffees would change season two, right? The coffee from last year, because of rain, weather, whatever it is, it changed flavors. It's no different with this guy. So this new one, I can't say it's better than last year, but it's just as amazing.
Top of the food chain, right?
Oh,
it's
you
like,
know
yeah,
it.
it's like,
You know
what are you
it.
going to pick?
Let's cut the chase here, because I know
What are you
this
gonna
guy
pick?
loves the coffee too.
10 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10? Let's see what we got going on.
Let's
here.
see. But
All right.
this guy right here, give it a good smell. As always, the biggest slurp.
Oh, thank you, by the way. So I learned this from you a couple times of coming here to hang out a few times. The other iteration of your beautiful location. But you were teaching us not to necessarily go in when it's super hot. So I was gonna ask you, I was like, did you let it cool down a bit? And of course you did. It's like the perfect temperature for tasting. And this is probably the smoothest coffee I've ever had in my life. I mean, smooth, baby
Dude,
bottom smooth.
Dude, I'm telling you,
good.
that thing's so
Neander's
silky.
head smooth. You know what I mean? It's beautiful and clean and delicious.
Dude, it's
Thank you.
amazing, right?
What-
I knew you would like it.
Which one is this?
What is it called? What's the name of his actual farm?
Vale Verde.
Vale Verde?
Yeah, I think it's this coffee, yeah.
Yeah, Vale
Muito
Verde.
bom.
Vale
Obrigado.
Verde is actually a park in Alto Caparaó.
That's what I was gonna say.
That is like a valley, and the water just like waters down this big rock, dude, and just like washes over. It's amazing. It's a little cold because it's up in a valley, right? But the water is crystal clear. You can see all the way to the bottom. The water, it's clean. That from those mountains, people use the same water to create medicine with it because it's pure. The minerals, the tested it, it's just amazing.
All the natural
You know,
springs.
Where
in
is
it.
this? What state?
Minas Gerais.
Minas. Muito bom. That's going to be beautiful.
And, you know, obviously, a water that you prepare the coffee makes a huge difference as well. You know, just like when you do pizza, the dough that you mix the water into it. That's why Grimaldi's had a place here, and they would import the water all the way from New York to Dallas until they figured out how to change the pH and stuff. But, you know, water has a huge impact. So is the temperature. So is everything else. So perfect, 100%.
Look at this guy, man. Created a monster here too.
I'm
Love it,
ready.
man.
Yeah, no,
Love it.
I've been searching all through town for coffee roasting locations that actually roast their own beans. Once I
Nice.
found that if you're drinking anything that wasn't roasted within like 2 weeks, you're just not keeping up to the
freshness.
It's not that you can't get all the flavors out of it.
Yeah,
so.
we brought one coffee from a
Real
local
grind.
coffee shop here that we actually really enjoyed it. What's the name? That you should be close to our last office.
Lima?
Lima Coffee. So go to Lima. They're amazing.
They're in downtown Carrollton, dude.
And
They've got good stuff.
Good stuff, for sure.
Noted. Go play around.
You know it. But dude, I want to hear more of your story because we've met multiple times. We always talk about coffee.
Yeah.
I never really heard your backstory and all that stuff. But so far, very, very amazing. And I want to hear more about it. If you need more coffee, you know how to find me. Oh. And I don't want to let you go empty-handed today.
What do you mean?
Next time you have coffee in your house, you're gonna remember us. You're gonna remember the show,
dude.
all the interactions in there.
Italo.
So you got it, dude.
Are you kidding me?
So now
I'm gonna be repping the real grind.
Hey.
Here we go. The real grind.
This is the Rio grind.
This
Now
is
you
the
gotta
real-
rep while
Oh,
you're
you
drinking,
kidding
man.
me?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna be repping this with my kids
Nice.
on the way before they go.
Nice.
Before they go in the morning.
You
I
bet,
appreciate
dude.
you guys.
Thank you so much.
brother.
Appreciate you,
That's
Gabe.
what's up.
Awesome,
I
dude.
got swag. This is it.
You know it. All right,
This is
so
it.
I'm out of here. I'll let you do your thing in there, and if you need more coffee,
I know
you know
where
to
you're
find
at.
me.
I'm coming for
Hey,
you. I'm coming for you.
I'll catch you in a few.
Welcome to Empire Living Solutions. This is a brand new business that come out of a solution for a problem that we had. We're being struggling with buying material and goods for our apartment renovations. After 5 properties, over 750 units, we have a lot of turns. So by buying directly and forming our own brand to buy directly overseas and going to manufacturers and testing products, and after all these years, we mastered and crafted these products, and now it's available to you, syndicator, operator, property management, or even if you do flips or developing new construction, anything, we have solutions for you to save on cost of material and have a one-stop shop so you can run your properties to the max performance. Let me put you to a spot right now, man. So, not really, but the hot topic today, the time of this recording right now, a lot of people say go for it or just hold off. What is your perspective on right now? I know that you recently closed on a deal, and are you looking? Are you staying? So, what is your perspective of today?
I'll give you my perspective as what's working for me.
Yeah.
I don't have any dogs right now. I've got, that's the term used for deals that are really struggling. People are trying to make sure that they survive until 2025 or 2026 on those deals. I don't have those right now. So I am all about getting a new deal or two done before the end of the year, as tough as it is. We just closed something in February, and it couldn't be any more challenging of an environment to get out and raise capital in or really have the right business plan where the sellers are giving it to you at the right price. But as I stay on top of what's happening here locally, I couldn't be more excited and be more all in. I think there's some things that are shifting. I'd love to chat with you about them because I think they're important for us, like just you and I, to be on top of. And that is, I think that me and you are going to have to learn a lot more about how to structure our business as operators to attract in others that are fund managers.
Right.
I think that fund managers are going to play an important part of what we do moving forward, just given how challenging it is for retail investors in our space.
100%. And I think, from my perspective now, going back on this conversation, is like, I feel that the retail investor is a little bit scattered right now because of I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, and I'm not going to go there, but like for not good experiences in investments in the real estate sector, okay? I be honest with you, I am passive investor in a couple of deals that are not doing great, and one of them that I lost 100% of my money.
Probably in that same deal. So we both came from being retail investors, so we know what we would expect and sort of how things have played out.
Okay, so I could have a question for you. Since, I'm sure that we're probably on the same deal or similar or close, but how do you feel as an investor? I can share my opinion, but I want to hear from you. What is your opinion about that, losing 100% of your money?
It's what I experienced in owning regular stocks. It's what I've experienced in investing in single families. It's what I've experienced in investing in people or businesses, right? That you always have the risk of losing 100%. Now, to see it actually play out that way sucks. right? And through the process, what you want to see is a true, we left it on the field, the playing field, so to speak, and gave it a full effort of trying to get you there, and it still didn't work. And that's not what we're seeing, right? We're seeing people that left a lot on the table from an operations perspective, maybe took their sweet time in terms of getting a handle on an asset. And those are the ones that are losing 100% right now today. So yeah, no, I think there's every investment has its risks. And on the deals that I've come even close to losing money, I've been frustrated because I think there's just an opportunity on the front end of any investment to do a lot of diligence. And on a passive investment that I lose all my money on, that means I did some things wrong, my sponsors did some things wrong, and that's okay, right? That's okay because we just got to keep playing. If I was in 2006 and 2007, like my dad was in the stock market, right? And playing hard and heavier and starting to get interested in day trading and starting to use some leverage, right? Well, that doesn't mean you stop in 2007 because if you continue to 2027, you're going to be a multimillionaire. You can't stop and you don't have any control of the overall broader market, but you can learn. And if you're not learning, that's a big problem that I'm seeing a little bit of right now.
Yeah, and I think, the investment side, because, there's a mix of people that we call their retail investors, people that are going to invest with you for diversification or whatever. They're not very educated about the multifamily industry. And that's what the part that feels sometimes that they don't understand the risks, but everything has a risk in my opinion. And no matter if you drive in your car and go to the highway, there's a risk of you getting in a car accident or for investors it's no different. So that is why I'm not upset about losing the money in the deal. But at the same time, like you said, I want to make sure that I don't fall into this again by vetting better the deal that I'm invested in.
I get to be my own horse now, right? I am the jockey and the horse. So I'm a limited partner in all my deals and I'm putting my money into my own deals because I don't want to depend on somebody else right now that isn't going to leave it all out on the football field. Now I've got some friends like you, like a few others that are in the same asset class or different asset classes that I would gladly passively invest alongside. And if it makes sense, I will. I like diversification of this asset class, multifamily. But, for the most part, I think I learned a lot. I didn't know a lot. I think in our industry, because it got popular and technology kind of made it boom, there's a lot of people that think that, you can learn everything and it's so simple and I can be a master of this thing in a year. But if you really get out there and you meet these folks that have been around 20, 30, 40 years and you watch the way they play the game different than everybody, it just shows just in that there's a ton to be learned by living through multiple cycles. We're fortunate enough to have lost very little and gained a lot. I mean, if you put that loss against how your life has changed and how much freaking money you've made in 100%. This particular asset class.
I'm not losing my sleep over that whatsoever. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's why I see now it makes me a better operator just by understanding that's what to do and knowing that right now, conservative on your processes, on your operations is key now. You know what I mean? We were buying for the past 2 years properties that the prices was, as a seller's market. So we bought those things, so making now the margins and profitability a little slim, so you have to run a tight ship, and what is the principles that you're applying right now to being conservative on your underwriting?
I am taking control of the value add and not letting the market be the determinant of our outcomes. So on the deals that I look at, I have to be able to add value myself in a short amount of time with my team, I should say, right? In order for it to make sense. I'm not going to sit there and use a projection from a third-party source like CoStar to determine whether or not my outcome's going to get where I want it to. So I'm actually looking at deals that are a little more distressed than your typical buyer. And that's because I feel very comfortable with the team we put together and the sort of, nascent results that we've been able to drive on the assets we've been taking over.
Shout out to your team, by the way, man. Big fan of your team. You guys are kicking ass all together. Going back to the capital, though, I believe that retail, like we're saying earlier, the retail investors are a little scared away, but there's a lot of fund managers, like funds, that needs to deploy because, funds, money sitting in there doesn't produce any money, doesn't generate money. I think the answer is here, how we can connect the two together, finding good operators, and right now they're hunting, believe it or not. And after we went with the construction and vertically integrated, and now with the property management, there is people that it gets more attracted to funds, to private equity groups.
Let's do it. Let's eyeball this camera right here, Neander, because we need to tell these people if they're watching. Hey, Gabriel Craft Capital Investments, Neander, Multifamily Empire. We are looking for fund managers that make sense and are a good fit for us, and will be a good fit for you.
That's an elevator pitch,
Yeah,
right?
so we both have our little cultures we've created. We both have our attempts at sort of finding the right deals that fit our business. Those fund managers need to have a lot of clarity on what we deliver, and I think that's what I'm learning over the last. Really, it's just taking place this quarter. I'm starting to shift this quarter. I'm spending a lot more time focusing on fund managers, and my early learnings have been that we just need to do a better job explaining what our unique business proposition is, explaining how there's a bunch of risk around what we do, and how we're going to mitigate it, so that they don't have to go do that for their investors, and then having a really solid deal room, so they can kind of get in there, they can see, maybe even do something crazy like run your background check in 3 different systems and have the reports already ready there for them. So they get in there and they're like, oh, these guys have thought through all the things I need as a fund manager. They've done the due diligence for me.
I never heard of that before. Like getting a hey, here's my background check, man. I'm clean.
Not just for me, for all my partners, and there's 3 different sources. So you can check all of them. Like really go in deep so that they pick up the ball and can run with it. Because it's really just a matter of making them ready to raise capital on your deal when the time comes that they want to allocate to multifamily in Dallas.
And also, when you have the skin in the game as well, by, putting money as GPs as well with the funds or capital, private equities and stuff like that. That shows a lot what you're all about, right?
Yeah. It was big on our last deal where people would ask the question, not just funds. I mean, retail investors are smart enough to ask this question. Like, how much are you putting of your own money in on this deal? And, to be able to tell them we're putting in 25% of the LP equity, as a group, like that makes a big difference. All of a sudden you get a whole different conversation going with high net worths and with fund managers.
Absolutely. And talk a little bit about Craft Capital Investment, man. What is that all about, and what is it, and where are you guys going with it?
I mean, it's just my business that I started in 2021. And, my first 4 deals, I was partnering up with people in my multifamily group. And by this 5th deal, I was really able to identify who I want to grow with. So we've got our own teammate in charge of property management and asset management. He's very boots on the ground with a lot of experience. And he runs the Texas arm of a larger property management company. So that's really helped us out a lot. His name's Misha. He's a gem. I've got a teammate that I've been on 4 of my 5 deals with, and Sean Griffith, who's just my right-hand man. We call him the VP of whatever I need him to be. Right now, he's literally
VP
getting
of all.
Yeah, he's getting lender draws ready for us. Was doing that all Saturday and Sunday, and he's just an amazing teammate that's always been there when you needed him to be there. And then we've got construction teammates. So I partnered on this last deal with Mr. H2O Ken Waters and Brendan Martinez of CapEx Partners. Ken, amazing general contractor. Brendan, as you know, not just my bud, but also the CapEx manager. And those are different. A CapEx manager's job is to keep all the contractors in line. And so there's this great dynamic where we've got an experienced contractor who will get the last look on a lot of projects a lot of times. But if he's not able to meet market, he's going to get washed down by all of the other bids we're getting on these things. And, Brendan has one of the best Rolodexes. I've got a pretty darn good one. So between the 2 of us, we've been able to source extremely competitive bids. And I'll tell you right now, I mean, you're in construction, you know this, there is a weird thing going on. They're not getting as much business as before. So they'll start out really high. And so if you're an asset manager or somebody buying deals, like push, renegotiate and negotiate with those contractors right now, because they'll start really high, but there's actually a lot of margin built in there that they'll relinquish because times are tight and they want to keep their people busy.
100%. They have to.
So Craft Capital Investments, we're focused on DFW heavy value add. And our approach is like, we want to build a culture. You've got to come in with 3 things if you're going to come partner on our deals, or if you're going to have anything to do with our organization as an employee or potentially as a JV partner. First and foremost, you've got to care about these assets. Like your cousin and your mother and your sister are living there. These are communities. And as we've gotten a team together, everybody in my team loves to make money for our investors. They love to make money for themselves, but they are driven by turning these communities around that have not had a good ownership group or two before, right? And that's pretty much been our MO of what we bought, is deals that were not treated well. The second thing is if I'm telling the truth about my teammates, they got to be killers. Like, everybody on my team has to work as hard as me and Misha. And that's a very tall order. And it drives people a little crazy, but we'll be there 6-7 days a week until we get things figured out. And we're constantly going hard. And that's everything from like leasing agent to on-site maintenance. But we found the right people. Like, over a long enough period of time, it weeds out the wheat. And we found the right people to where we really kick butt on our deals. And the third thing is you have to have some fun, which is why if I can't do it always with my team, I have to go over to the real grind and hang out with them and have a good time. You know what I mean? We got to have some fun while we're having the hard work.
Very cool, man. Do you have are you guys vertically integrated on property management? Not yet.
Interesting question. The short answer is no. The short answer is no. It's not a vertically integrated scenario unless you really own your own property management company and your own construction company. We have a different model. So for property management, we have partnered with somebody who is an employee of a family office driven property management company. Saying a lot to say, that company owns 13,000 units. 6,000 of them are owned by the family office themselves, and the rest are third-party property management. Well, this teammate of mine and his brother bought a bunch of properties. They have a lot of control over the company because they own 2,000 of the 13,000 units. And the only units in Texas are either my business partner's brother's properties or my properties, or our properties, or Craft Capital investment properties. So we've got this unique opportunity to have all the scale of an amazing, I love my property management company. I was just talking to the VP earlier today. I'm going out to visit them. They're out of Omaha, and just build some better bridges between the company. But when it comes to Texas, me and Misha pick who we're gonna hire. We pick how we're gonna balance out across the portfolio. So we have a lot of the controls you would typically want from being vertically integrated without being bogged down in the day-to-day of like, how do I find an amazing accountant? How do I find an amazing transaction team that transitions from old ownership to new ownership and does all the back-end marketing stuff? How do I find them? Man, the marketing guy they have on site at the headquarters is the best. He's just so unique in his ability to find angles to market and lease up quickly. And I think that's why it's given us a lot of momentum around these heavy value adds, because leasing up can be scary, but when you've got somebody with 25 years in the business behind you, it's been easier. So that's for property management. And for construction, we've balanced it out by having this general contractor, CapEx manager, balance. And we've been able to do things at a fraction of the cost and do them fast, which is what I think you can appreciate, because that's what you guys do.
Yeah, I know. And I saw you guys like closing the deal in February, right? It was like you guys already did a lot of renovations in there, a lot of CapEx stuff. That's awesome, man. Because you know what, bro? The rule of thumb that I said, when you buy the asset and you already have that CapEx money, if you deploy all visual things first, that the tenants could be like, man, those people are coming in to do good, to deploy someone into this community, they automatically more acceptance of some of the changes. Because I found out over the years that B and C class apartments, they hate changes. They hate to change the property manager. They hate changes. They get so, now every time I come, I'm a new manager, right? But when you're doing things in a fast pace and they're visually seeing things happening in the property, they're more accepting to those.
You know what they hate more than change though? They hate people that don't do what they say they're going to do. And most of the time when me and you are buying these assets is because the previous manager or two, or the previous owner or two has not delivered on their promises. What we found, we were 68 days into owning this thing, and we were, like you said, we were swinging hammers. We closed on February 16th. We were swinging hammers on February 17th, man. We were ready to rock and roll. But when it comes to the first 120 days, I think it's even more important to go unit by unit, get in there, you take inventory, but you're also asking which work orders people need done, and delivering on those within 24 to 48 hours for a majority of them, if you can. That has gone the furthest for us. We literally had people stop us and go, we just love how you're taking this asset and doing things differently. Like, I'm willing to pay more now. That's the words out of the woman's mouth. The other woman that I will use as a great example.
That's a great. How can we find more of those?
Yeah, exactly,
tenants,
right,
dude?
And so you gotta deliver
more
for
of
them.
those tenants.
We got to deliver. We got to keep delivering for them. So then the second one came to us and said, like, I had been living in boxes, in and out of boxes, because I wasn't confident that this company. Within the first few weeks, I realized that the last ownership group, they didn't use the word ownership group. The last managers weren't doing the things I asked them to do. So I was going to move. She's like, I just unpacked all my stuff. I love what you guys are doing. Thank you so much. And she's like introducing us to her whole family. And it was just cool. That's what I mean when I said priority number one for Craft Capital Investments is people that care about the community. It shouldn't be an afterthought. And you shouldn't be doing this from behind a computer. You've got to figure that out by being boots on the ground.
Yeah, 100%. And, this is one of my first interviews with, at the time, property managers with ours. I was like, let's invest on the people first. And everything just kind of falls into it, man. Because, they're the customers, right? And, we are on a big hospitality business, and a lot of people don't realize that, right? Just, they want to live in a community. They don't want to live in the apartment. It's two different things.
It's so weird. Like, man, let's take it back. We're not even talking about this new one. Let's take it back to this other asset we bought in 2023. And we take over and we think things are fine. The books look good. At the time, I didn't ask for the general ledger. Would have dug in a little deeper and found that a lot of delinquency. And I think a lot of people are seeing that across the board. But we get in there, we take over, and we're like, man, we gotta get people paying and get people excited about this place. And our biggest value add was literally the people that they met when they walked in the door. So our leasing agent was a gem still. And we moved her over to the new asset because she's such a gem. But like that changed the experience for people because they went in there and all of a sudden it was like a positive, hey, how can I solve your problem? Let me stop what I'm doing and address these things for you, or come to you, right? And get out into the community and have events and be a really positive influence on the community. You don't have to throw a bunch of money into a unit. And if you throw a bunch of money in the unit, that's not necessarily going to get you the value you want to add for these people's lives. I'm not saying you can do it without spending a penny. You shouldn't come in undergunned on capital, but we've had a lot of progress on deals with just a personality change in the front office. And that's crazy. That's huge.
And there's a lot of people don't realize that is like actually the whole entire asset, let's put into word, a $20+ million asset, it's sitting on the hands of who's in the office, man. You know what I mean? No matter how much your numbers are tied and all that good stuff, but that person is on the personnel in the office, it just make a huge difference.
We got to pay them. That's the other thing I've learned. Like we can't nickel and dime that line item for sure. We got to pay them.
Something like, we learned, dude, it's like, right now, as we underwrite deals, it's like, okay, so we need to put a lot more room in order we need to bring an A player there. Because an A player is going to obviously do more, but also is going to require more. And it's like we have to have that approach what is for them too, right?
Those are your generals, right? If you're taking over an empire, you don't want any B or C's. You'll lose the wars, man. The next thing you know, you'll be depleted. Your foot shoulders will get knocked out. So yeah, you've got to have the best of the best when it comes to the people inside and outside of your property. And that's just been a big shift. I think there was a time where it made sense to put any level of equality in there and try to make it work because the market was so strong. Just can't happen right now. I mean, we're kind of more at a normal stasis for what a market should look like in terms of supply and demand. And even maybe a little higher on the supply than on the demand. So we have to be the best in class.
Gabes, are you looking for any deals this year? Any more deals?
It's just picking the brains of every broker I could find. Yes, we're looking at deals. We're trying to find them. We're going to do 2 to 3 more deals this year.
Okay. Which deal was that one that we went together and
the Estrella
in
Fort Worth.
You want to have it? I'll give it to him.
You want it back? Yeah,
I'll sell it, man.
Yeah, what happened to it's right across the street from a great school. Yeah, timing is everything.
Yeah.
In hindsight, right? Timing is everything in hindsight.
Yeah.
Great deals can be very challenging when you buy at the peak part of the market, and it's really hard to tell when that is. But I'll tell you what, when you start to feel out the cycle, and you feel like we just did the peak of the market, it becomes a little easier to feel the bottom of the market.
Yeah.
Right? If you just felt the peak and you were in the heat of it and you experienced everything and you stay plugged in, you're going to feel the next bottom of the market. And as you know, right now, that's what it is. So people like you are going to be able to survive till 2025 and 2026 with the ones that are sort of bought, maybe at a different basis than you would have liked in hindsight. But everything we can pick up, if we can get our dogs out of the way, and thankfully, like I mentioned, I don't have any dogs, but if you can get those out of the way and you're one of the friends in the business, like go after it right now because we're just not going to see this again. And institutional buyers are going to do weird stuff in a couple years to get those cap rates back where they used to be. It's just how it's going to go. Governments will do what they're going to do. We don't know where interest rates will be, and that does matter. But the basis that we can buy these things at right now is crazy.
100%. I'm with you, man. I'm actually looking into a deal right now, but coming out with all different aspects that we would consider back then, but at the same time, it's like the price point is very attractive. Very attractive. So,
and we just have to adjust, man. We can't just blindly do a 5-year business plan. Maybe your business plan is add a bunch of value on a 3-year piece of debt and refinance a bunch of people's money back out and then own it another 10 years. Maybe that's the plan, right? Maybe we aren't doing these things where we're just buying them and holding them briefly and handing them off to the next person.
Right.
Maybe you come out of the gate swinging with a 10 or 12-year loan. I mean, I've watched you guys grow, and I trust you guys now are in a position where you can look at it and see what makes sense for that asset. And I think we have to start doing that. It's no longer the time to just follow blindly from the person that, maybe isn't adjusting to the times.
Not what the broker posted on the OM, right? We need to kind of measure some data.
Yeah, and we now have learned
Sorry,
how to speak.
brokers, no offense, okay? I'm just saying.
I'll give them credit, or at least in Dallas right now, they're trying their darnest to come to the table realistically. And I'm having great conversations with them that I've never had before, because it was a very one-sided ordeal before, as it should be, right? They're supposed to support the sellers. Now they know that if they do that too much, the sellers are unrealistic. So they're going to jump back in and have the more intermediary position and go, yeah, seller, great. But things changed last week, let alone last quarter. Like the treasury is at 4.6 right now. Like, let's adjust our thinking a little bit and make a transaction happen, because they know that without a transaction,
I feel there'll be
way more fair.
More fair.
And some of the ones me and you work with stayed fair, right? The one I just closed with, best in the business at staying fair on both sides. I've never been burnt
100%.
by some of these brokers in town, and they actually get a little flack in the broker community by not being salesy enough, right? But I freaking appreciate it, because when times get tough like this, they're going to consistently knock singles as opposed to trying to hit grand slams for a seller and sort of put the next buyer or the buyer into a bad position 3 years down the road.
Exactly. It is. We all, for the long term in this, from both sides. Our success is their success, and vice versa. So I think they want the best interest for repeat clients and their reputation as well. So, but brother, we are going to ask a few detailed questions about Gabriel Craft, and this is the part that is spilling the beans with Mr. Craft here. Spilling the beans, all right? Which would you give up for life? Breakfast or dinner?
Dinner. It's actually probably healthy.
Really? You give up dinner?
I'd give up dinner in a heartbeat. It's very un-Brazilian of me, because my wife looks at me crazy. She's
I know,
like,
dude. People go to dinner in Brazil at 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Dinner is a thing.
And I've tried it before. I was like, I'm intermittent fasting. She's like, what's that? Do we eat we don't eat breakfast, but we eat lunch and dinner, right? But yeah, no, I'd give it up in a heartbeat. Breakfast is my favorite thing. It gets me going.
Make a movie about your most embarrassing moment or publish in your diary.
The movie would be about the time somebody pulled my pants down when I was 10 years old on a soccer field, and I was the goalie, to try to figure out whether I was supposed to be on the boys' soccer team or not. I was a kid with I had this long hair as a kid, and there was one jerky, bratty little 10-year-old kid, and man, I cried like crazy. I ran off that field. But we did go undefeated that season, and nobody scored any goals on me when I was goalie, so he can kiss my butt. So it's a positive ending.
What would the name of the movie would be? Like, pull down my pants, kiss my butt.
Male or female, boy or girl would be the name of it. Yeah, boy or girl.
Oh shit, man. Sing well or dance poorly, or sing poorly or dance well?
Well, since I sing poorly and I dance poorly, I think this question is more about which would I rather be better at. My wife's a beautiful dancer, so let me go with dance well and sing poorly.
Yeah, she was a bit impressed with you, man.
Yeah, I'll be like Richard Gere in that movie where he does the dance lessons from Jennifer Lopez, and then he shocks his wife. Annette Bening, I think, was in that one. Yeah, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna come smooth all of a sudden. She's like, oh my God, you know how to dance the foho now? What's up?
Let's go. All right, give it up coffee or picanha for a year?
picanha?
Yes, or coffee.
Why would you make me make this decision? I mean,
know,
of course it's
bro.
going to
like,
be.
I'm not even answering him. It's like,
it's a little easier because I can do some other cuts of meat. Like picanha is delicious. We all love picanha, but I can get down with any other types of beef and yet still have my coffee. So I'm keeping the coffee and Xing the picanha.
There you go. I was thinking about the same thing. That's a smart guy, man. Just switch the question around. Gotcha. All right, live full-time in Brazil, but with no sun, or full-time in Texas with the year-round or heat?
This is another easy one because we already get full-time heat in Texas. I'd be down there in Brazil in a heartbeat. Only thing keeping me here, most all of every year is the assets. But man, I'd be down there in Brazil enjoying some good music and the sun vibes. And you can take the sunshine away all you want to. It's the people that warm you up when you're down there.
100%, man. And this was Spilling the Beans with Gabriel Craft.
Yes. That was fun.
Those questions are being too easy, man.
Yeah.
Italo, we gotta spice it up a little.
Yeah, it was a guaranteed answer in
Right?
half of those. It was easy.
Brother, once again, thank you so much for coming to the show, man. It was a great conversation. We actually went a longer episode this week because the conversation was freaking awesome, dude. Let's go. And brother, if the question that we ask everybody here, if you could tell your younger self a piece of advice, what would you have to say?
I would tell a younger version of myself to stay true to who you are and don't worry about what you think all the people in your industry think you should be all about. One of the things I love about you guys is I always get to be my authentic self. And it's just a eye opener that as you get to know people better, they let you just be you. So I like being myself, but early in the game, I thought I was supposed to dress like a broker, look like a broker, talk like a broker. And that's not how it is. All the brokers I know are so different. And good Lord, if we could talk about all the fun times that we've had with some of them, right? It's just a matter of being honest and authentic. So yeah, I think that's what I tell myself.
That's great, man. Thanks for sharing. Actually, it's true. I try to do that myself to be who I am. And if people are going to like me, they're going to like me for a long time.
It's just good marketing. You're going to remember somebody that's themselves. If you're going to interact with somebody that's obviously not themselves and trying to be like everybody else, that's like a double whammy of just no bueno. So yeah,
100%.
we gotta shake those insecurities off. I'm going to some events this week where I know people want to get involved in the business and they're going to be trying to be their best, most proper version of themselves. And man, tell the younger versions of them, like, nah, just relax a little. Like, let's go.
Yeah, especially on those events, right? People are just like want to network and create business partners on that spot on. Like, dude, it takes time. Okay, it just takes a long time. We know each other for what? 3+ years, more than that. Shit.
Yeah, but the funny part is you were always working because, as everybody knows with your story, became the head honcho within the organization of the mentorship group that I was a part of. But even before that, when I was just going to the events, you were the guy running the sound and running the whole event and building the beautiful environment. And so you were busy when I see you for the first few years. We had shook heads and met, but then you'd be like, oh, I gotta go. So-and-so's about to get on stage.
And one of the things that I don't regret, I was pretty proud of my work, but at the same time, I wish that I had more time to spend more time with people. I was in a mission and I had to do what I had to do. I feel that I contribute for the program and for the cause, but it's great. But great in a way, I met some wonderful people like yourself, bro.
Yeah, well, everybody knows and loves you still. So
let's go. And brother, how can people find about Craft Investment Capital?
Craft Capital
Investments.
Come on, man.
Sorry, man.
Come on, Neander. No, seriously. We try to keep it as simple as possible. I am small. I'm still available for you fund managers. Remember I said this? Chatwithgabriel.com. So chatwithgabriel.com is going to be the best way to reach out and connect. We have a lot of resources. We have a lot of things that we could work through and direct people towards. But I think it starts with the conversation, and it's really going to make a difference on sort of where you're coming into the business. I'm still small enough that I will take 30 minutes for anybody and just chat with them like they're family members and talk them through, even if they're just considering, like, do I invest in real estate at all? But I'd love to connect with some fund managers, chat with Gabriel.com, and anybody else that sort of makes sense to pick my brains about where I'm at, or, you know, maybe give me some feedback on stuff too.
That's really cool, man. And you know, this guy actually that's been kicking ass in the industry, and a guy that I do respect. And I appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming to the show today, my brother.
We did it. All right, now we go into barbecue or what? What are we doing?
Hey, let's go.
Let's go. Let's get some
This
food.
is the real grind, guys. Let's go.
And as always, thank you so much for watching The Real Grind. Question for you: are you being yourself? Are you trying to please people? I don't know about you, but this episode is sponsored by ELS, Empire Living Solution. We're not trying to be anybody else. We're just being ourselves with the best quality products out there on the market. So if you buy wholesale, look no further. Go check out on the website. Amazing products at an amazing price. You won't regret it. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much. Give us a thumbs up right now. If you listen to this on your favorite podcast platform, thank you so much. Don't forget to give us a like on Instagram. That's where you're gonna find out who's next, coffee tips, real estate tips, and so much more. Stay tuned for the next episode of The Real Grind. I'll see you there. And for now, this is The Real Grind. Let's go.
Waking up to success. Now we're getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on gourmet coffee. The real grind. This is the